What's happening, everybody? I'm Robert Price, your productivity coach, helping you focus on what matters most. This is Productivity Boss Moves, episode 3. One habit you must break now to increase your productivity instantly. Right? So at this moment, you're probably wondering, what is that habit? So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. This is the principle right here. Overreading. Yep, I said it, overreading. And you're probably thinking right now, man, all the things I heard about reading has been great throughout my life. Reading is fundamental. Leaders are readers. Um, knowledge is power. Everything about gathering information and gaining more and more knowledge has been positive. Well, let me tell you a couple of personal stories with my dealings with this principle that could help you really overcome and increase your productivity instantly. So one of the things that I've done in my life is I wrote a book in 2016. It's called The Basics Everyday Life in Christ. And it's a great book for new believers, and if you're just trying to strengthen your spiritual development, your spiritual walk, it's a great book for that. You can find it on Amazon, and I'll post the link for it below. But I'm not talking about the book. I just want to mention that to tell you, when I did some research on, man, how do I write a book? I never wrote a book before. How do I get started? Like, this is such a daunting task in front of me. So I never forget, I looked up this YouTube series, and I'll actually post a link for that video series below, because it was massively helpful in me writing a book. But this video series on how to write a book, one of the first principles the teacher mentioned was stop reading any book that you're reading right now. And that was just, I think when he said it, it was kind of like, duh. Like, why would I spend all of this time reading when I'm saying I don't have time to write? It didn't make any sense. So what I did was I did just what the teacher said, and I stopped reading any of the books that I was reading at that time. And I was able to write that book, not a extremely long book, maybe about 100 pages, but I was able to write that book in 3 months. So this is before, getting it edited and going to the publisher and all of that. But within a 3-month span, I was able to write that book. And it was a lot of it was based on a principle that I stopped really gathering information. Of course, there may be something I have to look up for a point I'm trying to make in a book or something like that. But in terms of reading other books and things of that nature, I wasn't doing any of that during the time when I was writing, and I was able to bust it out in 3 months. It was in my head, it was in my heart. I just needed time to put it down on paper, so I was able to get that done. So that is one thing. So now what happened, so let me really share this with you. What happened is, after I wrote that book and it was published in May of 2016, I went back to reading a whole bunch of books, because I like to gather new information. I like to build my knowledge. So I went right back to reading a bunch of books. And what happened at that time is my productivity level in terms of, books, businesses, things to really build out my legacy and my family's legacy, kind of fell by the wayside, because I was so focused on reading, all of this other material that I was reading. And so really that hit me hard in 2017, when I really looked at my life and the trajectory of my family and where we were. So here's the thing. Today is my birthday, January 27th. I'm excited about that. But But I'm telling you that for this reason. When I turned 30 years old last year. And when I turned 30, one promise I made to myself is that I would move from a consumer to a producer. Yep, I will move from a consumer to a producer. And what that meant is last year I just declared to myself, like, I'm not going to read any books. And that happened. You know, last year I didn't read I didn't read any books. And you know, I still was learning. I still was keeping my mind sharp, because somebody's like, how do you keep your mind sharp if you're not reading? But I still was doing that because I'm a part of a personal development, personal growth community where, you know, we have access to video series, and I still listen to podcasts and other things. But I just wasn't spending precious moments sitting at the table reading. I was spending most of my time creating. Well, in 2018, I was able to birth two businesses for my family that are both producing income for my family this year, to the point where I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and solely focusing on my businesses. So that happened in 2018 using this same principle again, this not over reading principle. But what I realized is this year, I probably you kind of have to modify that, right? Because you can't really sustain that throughout your entire life. You're just not gonna read any books ever, or take in any information ever, and expect to grow and expand and get better. So I hear you. I hear your thoughts, right? So here is one tool that saved my life as it relates to this principle that I want to share with you, and it is called, doing a horrible job of writing the first G. But it's called Google Alerts. Yep, so I just wrote it out for you. The URL that I want you to type in immediately following this video is called Google. You just go to google.com/alerts. And the reason you want to go to Google Alerts is because literally you can type in any topic that you want. So for example, I'm a productivity coach. So a couple of topics I want to collect information on every day is productivity, and time management, right? So those are a couple of subject matters that I want to get information on every day, so I can stay sharp, I can stay relevant, I can stay modern, up to date on what's happening in my field. So when I bring the information to you, you can be getting some fresh, hot information, not, you know, last week or last year's information. So productivity and time management, those are my subjects of choice that I decided to take a deep dive into. Now, whatever your industry is, you can be in a food industry, design industry, whatever it is, like, look that up. You know what I mean? Type that in, graphic design, whatever your subject matter is. And Google, what they'll do is literally scan the internet on a daily basis for you to find that the articles, the videos, all the information pertaining to the top, the top rated information based on that topic. So these are the articles with the most hits, the videos with the most hits, and they're doing all of that for you. So you don't have to, mindlessly do research now where you are, determining, is this good information or is this not good information? Like, this is the top-notch stuff that you're getting right to your inbox. And the thing about it is, what I started doing is I started creating a 1 hour boundary. So right here, a 1 hour boundary. So every day I will set aside 1 hour to do market research. on these particular subject matters based on these articles and videos that are coming to me. And you can set it up for different time. It allows you to, you could do the alerts for 1 week time, but I like to do every day just to stay fresh every day. But I set 1 hour, and what I do is for a half an hour or maybe a little bit more, or a little bit less sometimes, give and take, but 1 hour I set aside for this time, where half an hour I'm actually researching this information, and I dedicate the other half hour to applying the information and starting beginning to think about it and how I can turn it into different topics and different ways I can slice it to bring it to you. But that boundary helps me not go into the rabbit hole, this downward kind of spiral that we go into when we start to research different things, or even when we hop on social media, we find one good video or one good, thing. And next thing you know, half an hour, 2 hours, several hours have gone by, and we're on this device scrolling or whatever we're doing. When we definitely we don't even remember what the first video was that we watched and the information that it was, because we were too busy consuming. So I want you to definitely create boundaries around that. And I want to emphasize over, the word over, and over reading. So it's not that you don't read, that you don't stay up to date and informed on your industry and what you're doing, but it's that you don't overdo it, right? So that's the one thing, the one habit that you must break to increase your productivity instantly. It is over reading, or another way to say it is over researching. Another way to say it that hits home for many of us, over analyzing. Right now, you're the right person. You have the facts. You have the information. It's go time. Right? It's 2019. Your family legacy is on the line. So this is Productivity Boss Moves episode 3. One habit you must break now to increase your productivity instantly. I'm Robert Price, your productivity coach, helping you focus on what matters most. If this information was helpful to you, hit the like button, subscribe, write a comment, share it. And you could even wish me a happy birthday today. But you guys have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. I'll see you this time next week. Stop overreading. Let's go.